Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about racism and my experiences with racism in the United States. So I would say that there's certain levels of stereotypes in every ethnicity that are still there. Um, and I think stereotypes are created because unfortunately, like they have to come from somewhere. So oftentimes there's a group, oftentimes a large group, who conforms to the stereotype and thus creates the stereotype. And the reason there's a stereotype is because genetically we are pre-programmed for survival and reproduction to recognize things. So like if the first 5 times you see this tiger killing these humans, the next time you see a tiger, you're probably gonna assume maybe this guy might kill me, so I'm gonna be a little more cautious around him. So it's a general subconscious natural thing that we don't even think that automatically triggers, um, which is kind of pre-programmed into us. But as far as racism goes, as far as the Asian community or towards Asian males, I think I've run into it occasionally, but oftentimes um, there's often been other people who have just been really great people who are almost completely blind to my ethnicity and respected me and liked me and talked to me and associated to me as a person, as a human being, and talked to me like that. They were almost like completely blind to ethnicity, and they just casually talked to me. And those people, I always respect them when I get someone who's really at that level, because it's just like, wow, it's really not about ethnicity at all. It didn't even trigger in their minds, and that's a very amazing thing. And I guess occasionally, you can end up focusing on the wrong people. You can focus on the people who are racist to you rather than the ones who aren't. That's something that oftentimes can occur, and I may have maybe in my childhood or uh, um, not just my childhood, but in my later years, focused on the wrong thing. And uh, occasionally, nowadays especially, I would look back on the people who were white or they were Indian or whatever race, and they really just talked to everyone completely outside of, completely blind to ethnicity whatsoever. And they were just absolutely friendly, great individuals. And I always respect that, and I always reminisce on that, and it puts a smile on my face when they talk to me and talk to others about that. And there's some great moments in my life where they just, you know, they fully supported me and they helped me, and they're just great people. So oftentimes people I just met and probably will never meet again. Having said that, because this video is on racism, I want to briefly at least address the Asian racism. And oftentimes it will come from people who aren't white, which is quite strange. And I think that's one thing to consider. I think, um, despite it not being perfect, I think the United States is like probably better than many other. Uh, I don't want to point at whole nations, but other ethnic groups or other parts of different countries. For instance, I'm not gonna lie, China. They're probably better at being not racist than a lot of our people. Again, it depends on the region. Some white people can be pretty racist as well. Um, but it's interesting because you get it from white people occasionally. You get it from not white people, and it's always very bizarre how this happens. I guess they have a right to do it, or they think that they um, whatever reason they think that they can be exceptionally racist, oftentimes for whatever reason, um, and they're not white, they're not black, they're Hispanic or some other thing. And it's kind of strange how that happens, but it does happen. And oftentimes, um, if it gets very like personally like abusive, like it really depends. Like if like the United States, it's a place where like for the most part it's been pretty stomped out. And I mean, it's something that you can talk to your teachers about, and they'll stomp it out pretty quickly, or you can talk to your boss about, and they'll stomp it out quickly, or you can quit. Like it's something that's based on the culture and the legal system. It's something very frowned upon and enforced. So it's a great thing, and generally racism is not there, and it's not always the case. And oftentimes, you have to learn to take a joke. Sometimes you can't be too serious about things, and oftentimes you have to embrace it. If you're always too stingy and like, you know, all angry about trivial things, that can come off too much. Sometimes people joke around, and like it's like it can come to a point where it's like, you kind of have to embrace and laugh off and not take everything too seriously. Like if this guy's able to embrace the fact that he's overweight and not the stereotypical standard of what's attractive, or he's balding and he's able to laugh it off, you should be able to take a few jokes, maybe throw a few back, throw a few punches back, be throw a few jokes back. Don't make it serious or be insultful back to them, but you should be able to laugh it off and add in some humor to it, rather than just going crazy. But generally, I would say, although there are certain, with every ethnicity there are certain levels of racism. I would say generally in the United States, generally it's pretty darn good, and there's varying levels, and occasionally, rarely, I run into those people who are just absolutely great people, and they don't care about race. They're almost blind to race. And then you get the friendly individuals who like, most people will register in their minds that, hey, this guy's Asian. They just can't help it, and they'll make, not intended to hurt you, but they'll make funny jokes on the fact that you're Asian, just because they'll make jokes about themselves because they're black, or they're white, or whatever. So sometimes you have to like roll with the punches, have a few laughs, and generally I would say it's not that bad. And again, I really have to give props to the people who are just like blind to race. And again, if you go to other countries like China, you'll find that they're not really racist, but they'll like, I mean, some of them can be, but oftentimes it's just like they register that you are different from them. So yeah, United States compared to other nations can be pretty good in terms of racism. I don't think we're perfect though, and again, maybe it's just right now where I'm at. And heck, if I move to another place in the country, everyone there's exceptionally racist and rude. Who knows? So again, it may just be my subjective sample size or sample region or gauge based off what I've seen. But yeah, that's just my opinions on it. And keep your heads up. Occasionally you will run into that. If you run into enough people, meet enough people, you will hit people like who are just that rare occasion, that exceptionally racist person, and you don't want to associate with them. Don't. And then oftentimes you run into people who are exceptionally nice as well. Don't let trivial things like that bother you. And if you can't get away from them, don't let trivial things like that matter. It's a very trivial thing. And I remember there's this one time where I had one of those instances where I just got really mad about it, and I talked to someone who I admired, and this was a man who he's white, but he's also a great individual. He has just very strong understanding of not giving a crap, having exceptional confidence despite not being that attractive, having a great amount of humor as well, but not overly humorous to a point of being a comedian. And this was a guy I brought this issue to, and he was just like, "Why are you worried about something so trivial? It's like it doesn't matter. Like, laugh it off." I had a black friend who he got jokes about being lynched. He just laughed it off. He just didn't really care about it. So stop worrying about these petty things and taking all these minor things too seriously. You're wasting your life. So yeah, I just got really inspired by stuff like that, and it's just great how certain mindsets I'm very I'm working towards. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.